Hi, I'm live. Just want to share some information that I got. I'm gonna be putting all this stuff on my YouTube channel, and anything academic is going to my YouTube channel. I have two YouTube channels. One's from when I'm talking shit with my people, and then other ones is the main one is for academic stuff, for the sake of study. But I just wanted to share something that I was reading, a study that I was reading the other day. Dr. Raymond Peat, one of the scientists that I really admire. He passed away this year, but he was a true scientist. He wasn't a medical doctor. I think he was a physiologist. But I was listening to him working out one time. I was listening to him while I was working out one time, and he was talking about birth control, and I wanted to be a pediatrician, and people were talking about you need to be an OBGYN. I'm like, nah, but the health of the mother is very important to the health of the child, because health and energy has a lot to do with one another. They say that energy is matter, and matter is structure. So therefore, energy and structure go hand in hand. Or I say, and I'm not the first one to say this, but they say structure and function goes hand in hand. So you want to know the purpose of something, just look at how it's constructed. But needless to say that the mother's health is very important, because she contributes to mitochondrial DNA to the child. And mitochondria is where all the energy production takes place. So if there's a mitochondrial defect within the child, then the child's going to have some problems. So, the health of the mother before conception is very important to the health of the child. And they say they have this made up word called geriatric pregnancy, and it is a made up word. We age, but I don't think age is linear, if that makes sense. I don't think we just age like I don't think we like a linear. I don't know how to draw it, but I can draw it on my whiteboard. I don't feel like getting up. I don't have a microphone, but you can preserve your youth for a very long time if you take care of your body. But basically, the female hormone known as estradiol, that they give that to women in menopause, and just reading the studies, that's freaking nuts, because they were able to isolate estradiol from chimney soot in, I think, the 1920s. So basically, estradiol is it was isolated from a carcinogen, and they give this to women that are in menopause, because they say that they're no longer producing estrogen. But the thing is, and it's funny because it's right there in the word. That's why I try to tell people about words. Progesterone. Progesterone is actually the pregnancy hormone. And what does just listen to the word progesterone, right? What is gestation? That's the state of pregnancy. Progesterone. That means it's push forward gestation. And when you say on, that means it's a ketone. In this sense, it's a steroid. But basically, the abstract says that the daily samples were taken for progesterone and estradiol, measurements for women who show a platelet response consistent with the presence of viable embryos. I'm gonna read that again. The daily blood samples, it says daily, were taken for progesterone and estradiol measurements from women who showed a platelet response consistent with the presence of viable embryos after in vitro fertilization. right? And embryo transfer procedures. This study was done in 1986 or 1985. A comparison of steroid levels between those women who became pregnant and those who did not revealed the following. At and after the time of transfer, women who failed to become pregnant had significantly higher estradiol. Okay, so that's estrogen. That's the estrogen that they give women when they're in menopause, or they do hormone replacement and they give women estrogen. This is nuts because it's a toxin. All right, so they had the women that failed to become pregnant, they had significantly higher estradiol and a lower ratio of progesterone to estradiol than the women who became pregnant. The progesterone to estradiol ratio was a better predictor of implantation failure than was the absolute level of either hormone. So it was the ratio that's important. Experiments were done in mice to test the hypothesis that progesterone could protect implantation of the embryos against the inhibitory effects of high estradiol. In mice, implantation was inhibited by relatively high levels of estradiol. So basically this is saying the higher the estradiol, the lower the chance of pregnancy. Okay, so basically progesterone is a protective hormone. And this goes back to what I was saying about the whole made up word about just geriatric pregnancies and stuff like that. The thing is, the older you get, the more toxic overload that you have. And the problem is that most people, I'm not even going to say Americans at this point, but most of the Western world, we have so much toxicity in our bodies. And toxicity is cellular stress. So you have high cellular stress, you're going to have to compensate for it somehow. So when your cellular stress is high, your cortisol rises. Cortisol is also a steroid. It's derived from cholesterol. So if your body is making cortisol, your progesterone levels are going to drop. If your progesterone levels drop, you're not going to be able to deal with stress in the correct manner. Children have high levels of progesterone. So basically, if you're having trouble getting pregnant, check your progesterone to estradiol ratios. And if you plan on getting pregnant and you're a little older, you're in your 30s, all that geriatric pregnancy nonsense is stupid. Just, make sure you're eating healthy. Make sure you're getting good, movement, if you know what I mean. Make sure you intake food and you're moving it out at a high rate. If you eat 3 times a day, you should move it out 3 times a day. I mean, that's just what it is. Make sure that you're not getting toxic fats. What else? For the women, that the lipophilic toxins are actually more dangerous because they store in your fat tissue. Now, as we know, women hold on to more fat than men do. Why is that? Well, women need their energy reserve, especially in their childbearing ages. So the thing is, like, when you're under stress, then you liberate those fatty acids. They get into your blood, but with those fatty acids released, you get the toxins released in the bloodstream as well. So that's why stress is a very high indicator of morbidity and all kinds of sickness and all that stuff like that. So that was crazy. Like, I'm not even gonna talk about 2020. I'm tired of talking about that nonsense. Like, people just want to be stupid. Anyway, another thing that I read is I'm not gonna tell y'all about my anyway. But so I was reading this article from Ray Peat, and It said in the 1930s it was demonstrated that estrogen, even in small doses, listen to this, estrogen, even in small doses, produced abortions. And when it was given early enough, even in a very small dose, it will prevent implantation of a fertilized embryo. Okay, progesterone was known by early 1940s to protect against many toxic effects of estrogen, including abortion. But it was also known as a natural contraceptive. All right, so this is the kicker right here, because a lot of people be buying Plan B. Plan B is like a scam. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Plan B is a scam. All right. So progesterone is known as a natural contraceptive since it can prevent pregnancy without harmful side effects by different mechanisms, including the prevention of sperm entry into the uterus. And progesterone also prevents, listen to this, progesterone prevents miscarriages which result from excess estrogen. But if used before intercourse, it prevents contraception. That's a true contraceptive, while estrogen is I don't know how to say it. It's not, estrogen is not a contraceptive. It's actually a pro-abortion hormone. So I thought that was really interesting. I really gotta get back on track to what I was doing. It's just I got so many things on my mind and just on my plate, and I already know how it's gonna go. I've just never been a person that's really just like conventional. Let me read the inversion. This whole time we've been talking about toxic masculinity, but it's really toxic femininity. Well, yeah, the stress, like when women get PCOS, right? So what PCOS is when you have a lot of stress, your body will, when you have a lot of stress, your estradiol levels go up, your estrogen levels go up. So what your body will do to protect you from that toxic estrogen load, it will switch it to DHT. What's up, Jambalaya Talks? It's gonna switch it to DHT, which is the potent male hormone. It's the reason why I'm so sexy and have this beard and this dark skin. So that's why women with PCOS they grow facial hair and all this stuff. So cortisol makes your progesterone levels go down. I'm gonna post this so you can go back and watch the beginning. But DHT is actually protective. They've done a lot of studies on hair loss, and hair loss is actually caused by a stress overload, and the DHT is there because like I was saying, when your stress is high, your body's gonna produce estrogen, and so to compensate for that toxic estrogen, your body's gonna turn it to DHT because it's actually the more potent of the androgens or the testosterone, whatever. So they say that men with thinning hair or men with bald heads, they have high DHT and they try to block the DHT. But the DHT is not the problem. The problem is actually the estrogen. I think PCOS is BS low key. All the women who have it are not healthy. Well, I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing because, estrogen actually helps things grow. So, if you have cysts on your ovaries, you have too much estrogen because you're growing things out of your estrogen, out of your you're growing things out of your ovaries, and that shouldn't be grown. Fibroids are connected to a diet as well. Diet is usually the culprit. Diet is the culprit, but how you respond to the diet. So that's why we shouldn't eat junk. Yes, baldness is linked to the mother's side. Baldness is not hereditary. that's the dirty little secret. Baldness is not hereditary. Baldness is based on stress. I thought I was losing my hair a couple years ago, but I was just really stressed out. I had a thinning spot in my hair. I was just super stressed, and I was gonna cut my hair, but then I was like, I cut it down, and then it grew back, but it just grew back thin. So I was like, okay, well let me see how I can reverse this. But yeah, it said moobs, man boobs. Yeah. It's a serious thing because it's an additives, dyes, sugars, endocrine disrupting plastics. Yeah, we live in a toxic environment, and I think that all this crying about the things that people cry about. I think that we need to demand other things, but we need to demand more out of ourselves. When I say BS, I mean that it's commercialized, like period cramps are. I don't have period cramps anymore because I changed my diet and stress levels. Yeah. That's facts. I don't think that. I think that I've always said that old people and women are the guinea pigs of the medical industry, and it's very problematic because a lot of women have bought onto the paradigm that they need the medical industry, and don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I love medicine. I love the study of medicine. I love health. You already know me. That's how people got to know me, because I was talking about the health and all this stuff like that. But I think that we need to shift the paradigm of what actual medicine and healing really is, because in order to heal, you have to understand what the problem is. And I know everybody wants the whole natural route, and I'm all for that. The natural route is just eating good and living healthy. But in a situation to where people need relief, I don't think there is anything wrong with a chemical if it's applied correctly in the correct dosage as well. I'm not pushing pills. I'm not a pill pusher, but there are some things. It's kind of like if you take a high dose of progesterone when you have a migraine, your migraine will go away. They've done studies about that, but what did they produce? What do they prescribe for migraines? I forgot what that drug is, because I was feeling it for somebody one time, on one of my family members. But it says, do what you can do and look for the supplement. I support the understanding of mechanism through the body as a holistic lens. Yeah. Facts. The body is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal piece of engineering. God is a master engineer, and the way He designed our bodies, man, is just so awesome. And science, the fake scientists, they don't respect it. They don't respect the natural design of the body. It brings its own set of problems. Yeah. But like I said, all drugs are derived from chemicals naturally found in nature. The problem is the dosage and the fillers and the misunderstanding of the problem. If you misdiagnose a problem and you try to treat it, you're gonna create another problem. It's like the whole mechanism of cancer. Cancer's not that hard to treat if you really understand the mechanism of it and how it comes about. But yeah, even it said eggs and cow all day. Even the whole the low carb thing. Like, people think carbs are bad. Carbs are not bad. Carbs are not really bad. It's the other stuff. Like, carbs are abundant in nature. Whole cultures and whole civilizations survived off carbs. It said all the women in my family were put on a hormone replacement therapy. Yeah. Oh man, that is just Terrible. Go back and watch the beginning of the video, but I'll just touch on it now. So basically the HRT, simple carbs they're not bad. I mean, the ones in nature are not bad. See, the things is, all right, hold on, let me finish the nobody needs floor. Let me finish the whole HRT. So what I was saying earlier is that progesterone is the hormone that is deficient during menopause, and that goes up during stress. So they get, instead of progesterone, they give women estradiol, and that's going to cause a lot more problems. But no, all right. So like carbs in nature, any whole food in nature, it has the enzymes within the food to help your body digest it and lock the chemical energy. So when you start tampering with these foods, and you start killing off the enzymes, then your body is not going to be able to properly digest them the way they should. So that's really what the issue is. It's not so much the fact that it's a carbohydrate. Carbohydrates, your body can break them down real easily. You don't even really need oxygen to break them down. I use unbleached flour to make my own bread. It's only 4 ingredients and I feel fine. Yeah, I'm so busy. I got too much stuff to do. Like, I mean, it's like I gotta clean the garage and clean the kitchen and fix the cars and make bread. I don't have time for all that, and I would love to. I wish I knew people that did all that stuff, and I would just pay them, but I don't. But kudos to you, because the bread at the store, I mean, all those ingredients they have in it, it's crazy. It's nuts. But it said they will vilify the use of holistic health to treat cancer too. Always saying people die because they did not do chemotherapy. Chemotherapy has caused more death than actual cancer. I mean, chemotherapy is just scorched earth. It said, I can't handle flour. Causes inflammation. I don't know. What is inflammation? Inflammation is the response to injury and stress. Be a stripper. You will have so much time to make your own bread. If I ever become a stripper, I'm gonna put all the other strippers to shame. But nah, I'm good. I think I'd rather use my brain than my body at this point in my life. I had a baking business over 5 years. Once I learned about starch turning to sugar. Starch is sugar. It's just chains of sugar. Sugar and carbs. It said pancreas having to make insulin. Yeah. I mean, insulin is natural. It's just insulin is how your cells bring in the glucose in your blood. Please don't be a stripper. Don't worry. I wasn't gonna be a stripper. Like, anyway, but what's up, Izzy? But yeah, that's basically it. If you're in your 30s, and if you're in your 30s, or if you're any age, just take care of your body. Like I said, the health of the children is very contingent upon the health of the mother pre-conception, because the mother contributes the mitochondria to the child, and the way that child turns over energy this whole life is going to determine their health. The body has to make much of it in the body, more than the body needs. It should be beneficial to your body, not just a hug to the mouth. Yeah, I think that cooking is a way to heal your family. Everybody should know how to cook. My bad. I had to. I was texting somebody. I'm saying flour bread broken down is converted to sugar. Yeah, I mean, but that's not. But I'm saying, like, biochemically speaking, your body can break down sugar, and I mean, sugar's not really the issue. The issue is the inability to break it down. If you've been poisoned to where you can't break it down, that's where you have an issue. What does the body use that sugar for? Fuel. But if we're sedentary, it turns to fat. Okay, that's what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, that's just a matter of taking in the right amounts and moving around. I was reading something the other day, and you don't ever want to let inertia kick in, because inertia works on mass. And it's kind of like moving something, moving a ball. If it's at rest, it's gonna take a lot to get it moving. It's gonna take a lot to get it moving. But once it's moving, then the inertia goes down. Then it'll pick up steam. So you always want to stay moving, even when you don't feel like moving. Just because if you don't feel like moving because you're tired, that's another thing. If you don't feel like moving because you're lazy, that's probably when you want to move the most. I try to make it to where even when I don't feel like doing something that I know I should do, that I do it anyway. Like today, I knew that I wanted to go live on, to talk about Father's Day. And, I was like, I don't feel like doing it. I wanted my homeboy to come on with me, but, I was like, all right, let me do it anyway. I did it. I was just fumbling all over my words. So I just kind of like deleted it. It said, I only eat. It said, sugar can be addictive as drugs, chemically speaking. Why do that if you don't need it? Eat some fruit. Fruit is sugar though. That's what I'm saying. Vegetables, meat, and eggs, simple and high protein. Yeah, sugar. That's one thing that I need to start uploading on my channel. Biochemistry was my favorite subject, and when I understood biochemistry, I was like, man, I can go into medical school right now. It's fructose, not lab created. But it's fructose, not lab created. It said, do you think sugar from fruit spikes insulin? Yeah, I think that I gotta have time. Like that's why I want to do this. I want to monetize my channel so I can like do this more. Cause the understanding I have for biochemistry and molecular biology, it could help a lot of people. The gut brain connection is brash, but this goes back to what I was saying, what I was trying to say earlier on my live, but I deleted it. With this whole health of the mother pre-conception. People kind of skip this step as a father, right? Because it's Father's Day, or it was Father's Day, or whatever, or quote unquote Father's Day. To be a father, you have to have a woman to be a mother, because she has to bring forth that life, right? So everything starts with the man. The man is the source. He's the originator. The life actually comes from the man, and the woman brings it forth. So, ideally, you should be a husband before you're a father. And, what is a husband? What does that mean? What is a husband, man? A husband is a planter. A planter plants in a garden, right? But before you plant, you have to cultivate the soil. You have to till it. You have to make sure it's nutrient rich. You know, because a bad seed cannot grow in good. A good seed cannot grow in bad soil. So you got to make sure it's good. It can sustain the seed. It can sustain the life that's in the seed that is gonna bring forth. So that's kind of the job of a man. And even when that seed turns into a sapling, you have to prune it. You have to water it. You got to do all of that. So all that is important, as a man, just being a father, people tend to skip that step. Everything starts with the man, how he lives his life. And, is he going to lead a life that causes the woman to be stressed? Because if the woman's stressed, she's going to have a hard time conceiving. I mean, that's the science. I just read the science right there. Stress levels high, cortisol's high, progesterone's low. Progesterone's low, estradiol is high. Estradiol, and then let's say she does conceive, but her estradiol levels are high. You're gonna get a spontaneous abortion. So as a man, you can't be causing your woman stress if you want her to conceive, and if you want her to bring forth a child that's strong and that's gonna be fruitful. It's just, I'm telling you, like, the keys are in nature, and we just kind of like, dismiss it and just like, we don't pay attention to it. But I don't know. June 19th. It's Juneteenth. Juneteenth. Anyway, but yo, Jambalaya, we got to do part 2 of our video, our discussion we were having about 2.5 weeks ago. We got to do part 2. I went back and watched it, and there were some things that I didn't articulate correctly. But so yeah, let me know when you're available to do that, or if you want to do it, or if you can. I don't want to force anybody. I don't want to like. I don't force things. I kind of like. I like people to be free to rock, and to just be themselves. I like freedom. Freedom is the best thing. You know what I'm saying? Juneteenth, the day when the white man told the Negro to get off the lawn and get a job. That was flagrant, sorry. Juneteenth is a joke. And let me not say it's a joke. Cause I don't want to offend anybody. But the thing about Juneteenth, Juneteenth is supposed to commemorate the Emancipation Proclamation. And the general came riding down to Galveston June 19th, 1865. Now the war had been over. I think the war was over in April. The war was over in April of 1865, right? But see, the Emancipation Proclamation did not free the slaves. The Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves that were in rebellion to the United States. So basically, it's kind of like Russia telling Ukraine that it's kind of like Russia telling Ukrainian prisoners, you're free. It doesn't mean anything. So the 13th Amendment, that was what freed the slaves, and that wasn't passed until 2 years later. 2 or 3 years later. I can't remember the dates. And it said appreciate that. Let me know when you're ready. You got tied up last night. Yeah, I was tied up last night, man. So the Emancipation Proclamation, freed slaves that were in rebellion to the Union, but like, that's stupid. That's like a man and a woman get divorced, and then the woman has custody of the kids, and the man puts the kid in punishment at his mom's house, but his mom don't really, fool with the dad. So the dad has no jurisdiction as the mom. I mean, it's crazy. It's stupid. You know, so if people want to celebrate something, they should celebrate the 13th Amendment. But, you know, that's just, I guess that's too inconvenient. I swear, like, tradition is the enemy of truth. But, I mean, it is what it is. You know, I told somebody the other day, they told me I don't understand. You know, I need to let people have what they have. And I'm like, I mean, that's fine, but, you know, don't expect me to participate in it because, you know, it's, I don't know, there's just so many things that I just kind of, you know, I cannot lament over all the nonsense that's so prevalent in society. You know, ever since I was a kid, I always been somebody that, you know, try to do things the right way. But, you know, as I got older, you know, people would be like, you're too high strung, or, you know, this, that, you always think you know everything, or you always think you're right. So, you know, that kind of wears at you a little bit. So you just kind of leave people to be, but, you know, it kind of gets you to be lonely because it's like, you don't want to participate in the foolery, but, you know, you got nobody else that has the courage enough to stand on that hill. You know, it's a little disheartening, but it is what it is, you know. Burden of the prophet, I guess. I'm not saying I'm a prophet or anything. I'm just saying, like, you know, knowledge makes you just, I don't know. Some dude at the club wanted me to cheer over Juneteenth weekend, and I was like, what is that? All mainstream history is a lie. Yeah, I don't even believe slavery happened, to be honest. All right, let me take that, man. Let me take that back. But I don't know. It's just like, I mean, even the news, if they reported on what happened yesterday, I still wouldn't believe them because they just lie so much. I mean, it's so sad that, you know, we got a lot to do as the parent generation now. You know, I think that, you know, this is high time to, you know, start creating. You know, there's so much knowledge out there, and there's a market for knowledge, and you know, I'm excited about the future. But anyhow, any questions before I get out of here? I need to go to sleep. I'm a little tired. I got a lot of work to do tomorrow. Any questions before I head out? To the viewers that are viewing, man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me and chopping it up with me. My husband and I are rejected by family because we don't support the victim mentality. Didn't get the poison and didn't support. Hey, I feel you. It's funny because remember I told you that I've never been called the coon and stuff like that. My family didn't reject me, but, you know, they were just like, man, you're weird. They thought I was weird because, like, I didn't get it, but it is what it is. Well, I guess I will go to see the Sandman and punch him in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? I will holler at y'all. Good night. God bless.